Good evening, everybody. Matrix here, and here is a list of what stocks I'll be trading and watching for September 24th. Okay, so let's get right into it over here. Let's start with the SPY. Um, Very interesting on the SPY. Like I said yesterday, we were watching this 297.50 and 297 area for bounce, and basically the SPY refuses to fail from there. So this little support area is still in play. Let me load up some drawings from yesterday real quick. So this little green support area is still in play. With that said, we are nearing 300 again. Looking at the futures real quick. It's not midnight yet. Futures is still up from 6 p.m., but I believe it's going to change during midnight when the clock strikes midnight. So taking a look at that, looking bullish. Whether it can stay above this 300 or not is what we will be paying attention to tomorrow for the overall market insights here. With that said, let's get into the watch list. I have 6 tickers for you guys tonight. Let's start with a main watches. My main watches is ROKU, okay? And ROKU, let's load up some drawings real quick. Load ROKU, and also load up some drawings on the daily chart as well. Okay, so on ROKU, today it basically traded sideways in a range. As you can see here on the intraday chart, these purple lines I usually use to map up my pre-market highs and pre-market lows. Okay, with that said, this red line here, this is today's high, so I'm going to mark that off as a resistance area, and also today's lows, I'm going to mark that off as a support area. Okay, with that said, looking at the action today, it's pretty congruent to what I thought it was going to do last night, since we had this massive dump today. For it to get into a sideways range and starting to wedge is very predictable, in my opinion. Now, this looks like a major bear flag forming, or you can call it a bearish pennant, or whatever you want to name it. With that said, there is no trade on it just yet. At the open, I want to watch where this wedge breaks, where this pennant breaks. These levels are still intact. If the 106 break down, we are getting a magnet to test the prior day's lows over here at 103.60s. And then if this 110.27 is the intraday resistance here, also linking to yesterday. Interesting how these levels follow up yesterday over here. And we'll watch that level first. And the pre-market highs and lows of today's are also very important, as basically the stock traded within this range, right? The pre-market highs and lows. So what I want to see tomorrow is a test of these pre-market ranges, okay, and see how they react. I mean, if it bounces off or if it starts holding the 107, I'm going to look for the open to ride up, or if it starts holding 111, I'm going to look for it to sell off. That would be my first move. Overall, though, this looks very bearish, in my opinion. The stock is still in play because we still have relative volume over here, and tomorrow it really depends what it does. Now, coming over here on the daily chart, let me break this out a little bit. I have mapped off the major resistance and support. Overall, you see these yellow lines. These are the 4 major ones that I'm looking at. 117.60, 111.80, which is today's highs, 103.60s. This is yesterday's lows. And then the next support down, I see $97. Now, coming over here, let me zoom out a little bit. This $97 area is basically this right here. So we have support here and here on August 5th and 6th. We have support on July 8th. We have support here on June 11th, June 10th, as well as this little gap update on June 5th. And here, June 5th, we have major volume or higher relative volume as well on this day. So that makes this 97 significant in my opinion if it's a down move tomorrow. So going to be watching out for that. You'll also see that I have the three colored lines here, the red, the green, and the orange. So the orange line basically is yesterday's closing price. And if I draw that horizontal line across, you'll see that it matches up very well within this range here from the mid of July period. The green line over here, if I draw this horizontal line across, this is the $100 mark. Okay, it's not uh, a true support in my opinion, as I'm looking at these levels where the 100 contacted. There are fewer than relative volume on these days, except for this one, I guess. I mean, this little volume bar is pretty significant, but $100 nonetheless is psychological whole number, so I marked that off as well. And then coming over here at this red line on the daily chart, let's see. This is July 16th high, okay? And it maps off at 113.50. Okay, so what does 113.50 look like? I marked that off just in case. On the intraday chart, it doesn't really look like anything right here on the 30-minute chart. So, but I did map it off as well. Let's see on the 5-minute chart what it looks like real quick. So this is where the stock kind of broke down as well on Friday. Today's Monday. Yeah, on Friday. So 113.45-ish is also a resistance I'll be looking for. So overall, we have resistance 1, resistance 2, and then today's pre-market high. And then we have support 1, support 2, which is today's lows and prior day's lows. Okay, and then also mapping off the pre-market levels. So this is still on main watch overall because it moves. It's got a range to it. It's got an easy pattern that we can pick at. It's looking more bearish than anything. So I think the probability of it coming down and breaking down is higher than it holding up. And of course, we still have relative volume. So ROKU definitely in play. Next up, we have Netflix. Netflix very in play today. I played this a little bit as well. Let's load up some drawings. Netflix. Do I have drawings on the daily chart? NFLX. Okay, so no drawings on the daily chart. This is from prior watch list. Okay, so with Netflix, I mean, we can just gather information from today's action over here. Okay, we have 3 areas of resistance I'm looking at. Basically, we're sitting right in the middle of everything at this 266. If I draw the horizontal line across, it's yesterday's lows. We have the first resistance at 270.75, which is yesterday's closing price, as you can see right here. And then we also have the 273.35, which is this morning's highs, okay? And then the next level up, we have 275.55 area, which is this breakdown area of Friday on the lows, okay? So you see the significant volume here on the opening bar on the 30-minute, and then it bounced off, it gapped up and started selling off, and eventually it broke this level, all with high volume here, very significant level at this 275.55 area. Okay, so that's my 3 resistance area. As far as support goes, we have the low of today at 261.80, and then I marked off January 2nd open and January 2nd lows. So coming into the daily chart here, let's take a look. Zoom out, zoom in. January 2nd, we are playing right into this level right now. So I said January 2nd open, right around here, and January 2nd low. So the first day of the year, okay, which is a significant date. And if we draw it back, I mean, this is the nearest support I can find here. So 5650s. If I click on this on the, here, let me move the clock out of the way. If I click on this on the top left-hand corner of the chart, you'll see all the statistics, right? So the lows here, 256.60, and the opening price is 259.30. So that's what I mapped off here as my next area of support. If I come over here and zoom out, you can see that's where we are about to test. So we have three supports and three resistance, still high relative volume. So very tradable tomorrow, very in play. Okay, definitely like that. As far as side watch goes, I want to start with ZS. Okay, ZS had a negative earnings on September 11th and has been grinding up slowly ever since. We are coming into this 9 EMA. I want to give credit to a good friend of mine, Jesse, who found this ticker. Now, the reason this is on a side watch is because the volume in itself is relatively low. So the idea is not fully established yet. But just looking at this daily chart, with this day on September 11th with major volume, I'm looking at the highs here at $50.16. So let's map that off. This is a very significant price point over here, and we actually close a little bit above it. All right. So what I want to see, I mean, we have buyers here, and then we have buyers here on September 18th. And then we also have buyers on September 20th. Okay. They all bought in and around the support area. Now, if we get a gap down under this area, then all hell will break loose. And these guys, all these buyers will start to panic, and they'll start taking off and selling. And if that selling starts, whoever bought here on September 17th, they will start wondering as well. And if they do sell, then this would cause a big commotion and bring it all the way down. So basically the line in the sand right now here is this $50.16, and the the closing price, $49.67. So if I come into the intraday chart, right about here, and 49.67 is what I said. We have a support area that's about to snap. So really watching this area tomorrow as a side watch. What's going to get me interested is that if we gap down, pull back up, test this area and fail, and this would be a fantastic short. Or if it holds this area tomorrow, then it's a long back up to the 9 EMA, retest the 52 area. Okay, so very nice side watch here on ZS. Thank you, Jesse, for finding this for us. Next up, we have FedEx. FedEx is also on the side watch as well. Ever since it had a negative earnings reaction, this thing is just selling off like no tomorrow. Today, another major dump day without high volume though. So the relative volume for this is about 1.6, I believe. So it just barely made my criteria to watch the stock. Now, what I'm watching, or what would get me interested, is a gap down or a fail here at this 147 to 147.50 level. And I would be interested to short it. Coming over here on the daily chart, I mean, if I just look at this right now, it's looking very weak. So if we do gap up, look for 147 to hold it down, if not a little bit higher, right around this area here, this 147.50s. And you can take a swing short on it, in my opinion. This 145, though, is very significant, not just because it's a whole number here, but if I zoom out a little bit, you can see it's the 3 years lows here, okay? Back in 2016, right around the late June area. So this here is a significant area. If this snaps, the 145 snaps, there is a lot of room to come down here to the 138, 139 area. So that's a nice side watch. Next up, we have Work. Slack Technologies. This is a broken IPO, man. Let's load up some drawings on work real quick. So the way I want to watch this, sorry, let me get the drawings here. WRKD. Okay, so the way I want to watch this is basically straight from the daily chart. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Move the clock out of the way. From earliest the IPO day, okay, up until today, we are in a downward channel, as you can see. All right, and we are stuck in this channel. What's interesting to me, or what causes to be a side watch tomorrow, is that we have a very clear, concise support zone that we're holding. Okay, so from this major dump day on September 9th, the low here, to today's low, we have this little cushion that's holding it up. And since we had a red day, what I want to see is for it to get back down here. And if this snaps, this today's low snaps, then it's going to keep coming down and retest this, or want to test this bottom of the channel here. Okay, so let's zoom out and take a look at this channel once again. It leads very well to the 22 mark. So I think that's where it's headed. Also coming up over here, we have a resistance level on the daily chart. So from 25 bucks all the way up to 25.25 area. This is the resistance area. So this is the only two area I'm paying attention to on work as a side watch here. So I want to watch this thing slowly come up and test. And then a fail would be nice for me to get short. And this is a long swing short down to the 22 level. And yeah, that's going to be on the side watch. And finally, we have NVDA. NVDA, nice little pop, reverse pop today. And we do have a catalyst. Basically, SunTrust came out with an upgrade today and gave it a price target of $216. Now, however, I don't really trust this upgrade, okay? And I want to talk about why I don't trust it. Here's the thing. If this upgrade was so good, coming over here on the intraday when we had a test of the VWAP, I mean, it started off well, held the VWAP and kept running. On this late day, if the upgrade was very good and people liked it that much, it should have bounced right off this and continue running into the close. Where's the close here? Price off the close line. This is the close. And continue running up into the close and retest these highs, if anything. However, we didn't do that. With major volume, we got a sell-off into the close. And only after hours do we see lighter volume coming back up and bringing the chart back up. So like I said, I don't trust this upgrade. What I want to see, let's load up some drawings real quick. NVDA. Okay, just three very simple horizontal support and resistance. We have the 176.50, okay, which is where it's at right now in the after hours. If I zoom out a little bit, this is, I believe, this September 18th low, as well as September 19th low. So we're coming into major resistance, okay? So what would convince me to long this is a gap up and hold of this 176.50. Okay, if it holds, then yes, I will long it. And then coming into this 178.50 area would be my first target. As you can see, there's a lot of resistance here. Okay, so I would definitely pay myself around this area if the long thesis convinces me to long, right? If it gaps up and holds this area. On the short side, if it dumps and stays under the 175, then I would short it and bring it back down to today's lows, okay, all the way over here. And then perhaps and see if it can snap and come back down to the 50 EMA here on the daily chart. So that's my thesis on NVDA. Two different plays here. Not going to trade it in this range. Definitely only want to take a trade up here for the long or take a trade down here for the short. And these longs and shorts need to confirm first. So just a breakdown would not get me to get in. I would like to see a breakdown, retrace, test, and make sure it's under it, and then short it. Okay, so very interesting NVDA watch here. And that's basically my watch list for the evening. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, share the fuck out of this playlist because it's for free. And I'll see you guys all bright and early tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Ciao.